Alright, let's see. Anybody dropping in right now? No, not yet. Hello, how are you? Barzan? How are you doing today? You don't have to tell me where you are, but I'm just curious what time it is where you are. Let me get started. Let me get everything around here. And then we'll get going. So we are looking at, we're going to be working on, did I put 409? 409 longest palindrome. Yeah, I put it in there. All right. I'll make sure I copied over everything. So we're going to be looking at this Leetcode challenge. And, I don't think if I put... Well, I'm very glad to have you here. I don't know if I've seen you here before, but oh, very cool. That is awesome. Let me get. Is this the first time you've joined one of the streams? Oh, I'm doing well. It's morning here, so I'm running running a little bit behind. I'm always a little bit behind. Kazakhstan, so that's far middle Asia. My Asian geography is not that great. So what time would that be? It's probably between 5 and 6 there p.m. That'd be my guess. But all right, so given a string S, which constraints, so here's the constraints. So it could be up to 2,000, between 1 and 2,000 characters. Is this the first time you've been on this stream? Or was that what the yeah was? It may have been. All right. So constraints are important. S constraints of lower and or uppercase English letters only. All right. So, given a string S, which constraints of lower case or uppercase letters return the length of the longest palindrome that can be built with those letters? So, I guess first we have to understand what a palindrome is. So quickly, a palindrome is something that is the same forwards and backwards. So the word mom, the word dad, the word Bob, the word race car. Same. You take it, you go forwards, you go backwards. It's the exact same word. Or characters. 101, 010, 1001, and so on. So anytime it's the exact same order, and it is the same forward and backwards. So all right, I gotta be on the lookout for my phone today. I gotta check text. All right, let me put everything in. And if you've not joined the Discord, everyone, there we go. I'm live. make sure you're joining the Discord so you can get all the help you need and deserve for your Python journey. Make sure you're not out there doing this all by yourself. All right, return the longest length of the palindrome that can be built from those letters. All right, so that's part one. Let me move that. I don't know why I expect my eyes to see that as green. Letters are case sensitive. For example, AA is not a palindrome because this is explicitly A, capital A, and lowercase a are not the same. And you might say, well, why? Well, do you get them to come out on the screen the exact same way? No, you're pressing a shift key. So this is how explicit I want you to think about this. And also, I want you to really look at it this way. Thank you very much. All right. I got a little fly flying around me right now. It's going to drive me nuts. All right. And then this is the value of lowercase a. So see, they are not the same. Your computer does not view them the same because the way that I want you to think about this is the way you get them to come out to the screen is different. You're pressing different keys. So they are different values. They are not the same. All right. Let's see. Sorry, I want to make sure everything's going good. All right. So example 1, you have string S. It is, and I like to pull these out when we start to use them for our test cases. Okay, so the longest is, it's saying 7. One longest palindrome that can be built is DCCACCD. So has to be bookend. The way that I like to think about this is has to be bookends, not copying and pasting. So the answer is DCCCDA. Okay, here we go. All right. So we need to devise. First, we need to make sure we understand this. And of course, example 2, A. It's A. And so don't think that it has to be odd number of characters, because it doesn't need to be, because like I said, mom and dad, those are three characters, and then we have an example here, 1001, which is 4. Finally got the gnat. We have like these little fruit fly things. All right. So we're going to need to then iterate through this and then test. So we've kind of been on a theme of get it to work and then optimize it and make it go faster, because Leetcode does a very good job of, one, making sure that your algorithm works. Vinky, how are you? Good day to you. Glad to have you here. So we're looking at longest palindrome. So you and I are very aware of Karthik. Glad to have you here. So all right, palindrome. In case you don't know, same thing forwards and backwards. So we're going to be given a string. So we need to find a substring in the string that is the longest palindrome. So we have all sorts of tests to do here. So first we're going to get this working, then we're going to see if we can optimize it and get this fast. Because like I was about to say, Leetcode does great with challenging your edge cases to make sure that it works, 1, in all scenarios, and then 2, are you doing it efficiently, or are you doing just absolute brute force analysis and having to go through every single thing, or are you doing it very poorly and going through the same thing 2 to 3 times? Okay, so first we need to have and we're going to need to do a I need to record a video today. Binky fruit fly. Heard scientists unveil the complete map of the fly's brain a few days ago. Really? That is very cool. Alright, hang on. I need to check on something. My wife's 7. All sorts of things going on. They had somebody who did something dumb at work, so they're on. Had somebody do something dumb, very, very dumb at work. So we need to. Oh, and we also. I think we're gonna record and do this 0 one right here. So let me check the lighting. We may do that first before it gets too crazy. So I'm trying to blend in problems and kind of not inspirational topics, but very pertinent topics, I believe, that are characteristics of good programming tactics, development, and things like that. So, all right, let's check. Oh, the teeth, yeah, the teeth aren't that bad. Okay, all right, check that out. What Leetcode challenge was this? Removing the zeros. Problem list, problem. Was it moving zeros? Zeros. Let's see. Removing trailing zeros from a string. Ooh, we need to do that next. I can already feel that's a good one. 0. Moving zeros. Yep. And then can't copy that. Moving zeros. All right. Let me check one more time because I got to come over here and press. Moving zeros. Hi everybody, this is Sam with Python Basics. In today's video, we're going to take a peek at another Leetcode challenge, and it's called Moving Zeros. I'll have the link down in the description below. But let's just kind of go through the way that we attack this. And there is so many ways to handle programming challenges. There's more than one way to skin a cat. There's 10,000 ways to skin a cat. That's what I want you to get used to. So just because I handled it this way does not mean this is the only way to solve it. I do these challenges to kind of get you warmed up, fluid, comfortable with thinking about how you would go about solving these problems, because there's more than one step to this. One, you have to actually go, how am I deciding to do this with my decision? Then I have to take that and then I have to write it in another language. Not only do I have to verbalize this in English, but then I have to take it and type it in Python syntax. So all right, so what the concept was you needed to move the zeros to the end of the list without changing the order of the non-zero numbers. So you can't do a sort and then readjust it. So what we did is, also, we solved this problem during one of our live streams. So if you're not on the live streams, I encourage you to try to come and hang out for a little while. If it doesn't work around your schedule, I completely understand, but they are published immediately after the live stream ends. But make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell. That was gross. So you're not missing out on any of these videos. All right, so what did we do? So it was an interesting technique that we kind of brainstormed and went through. So what we did was we took the list, the array. Then what we did is we counted the zeros. So this was an interesting technique. And we kind of do it all as a team where we're brainstorming, and it's very similar to a work environment, a work session. So it's very similar to a work environment, a work session, trying to solve through a problem and design. How we would go about solving it. So what we did is we counted the zeros. We then went through list comprehension because that's faster than a for loop. We created a new list excluding the zeros. Then what we did is we took the count of the zeros, created that same number of zero as a list, and then added it or extended it onto our non-zero list. So it was a very interesting challenge. Yes, this looks simple and easy after it's written. So I encourage you to spend time. Yes, learning new tools is great, but spending time sharpening those tools, ensuring that you know how they work, you understand the anatomy of the tool. I'm kind of really hung up on that term, the anatomy of the tool that you're going to be using. How is it? What is its functionality? What is it going to do? What is it going to derive? What is it going to create for you? And the more that you understand that, the better and easier you're going to be able to solve problems like this, because these are very similar to real world problems that I saw every day. I would get a list like this and I got to get rid of all these zeros, but I still need to count them and have them accessible. So these challenges on Leetcode are so similar to the things that I had to do every day. So just wanted to share this topic. Make sure you're hitting the like button for me, subscribe. Make sure you're joining the Discord server down below so you're getting all the help that you need and deserve. But as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Bye. All right. That color felt weird. Everything. How about at the end of the show, the time complexity, why it takes longer when you're going through long road than one optimized version? That would be cool. I guess how much more time consuming? All right, you're referring to with like list comprehension and for loops, or just the curve? Are you talking about the curve? Hang on. I was messing with that. Zeros. Vinky, I want to make sure I understand. Wait a minute. I guess I didn't technically actually solve the move zeros because I'm not getting anything. Okay. Say that again, Vinky, or maybe put that in Discord. So how about at the end, show the time complexity, why it takes longer when going on a long road. And one for optimized version. Oh, okay. You're talking about, like the optimized version for the problem. Got it. Okay. Yes, I think that, hang on. I think that's one of the topics, because I have to let these things sit in my head, but I also can't let them sit there too long or they just don't ever get done. Hang on, let me text my wife. All right. Okay. There we go. All right. So the junior and senior and things like that, because I want to find a balance between, because the live streams, I don't mean to say it like this, but the live streams I don't care so much about because I'm pulling back the curtain. I want the videos, the live streams and the videos. What do I want to say here? What do I want to convey? The live streams I don't care so much about, but I do. I'm pulling back the behind the curtain so everyone can see and see what it's like and what I go through. And I want it to be like motivation. Be like, okay, he's been doing Python for 11 years and he's having a hard time. Or he has to think through these problems, or these don't come very easily. Because I would be doing this anyway. So it's almost like I'm doing the work anyway, and why don't I just share with everybody? And then the videos, those are still, I'm more protective of the videos, I guess. So like you keep hearing me ask, how does the lighting look? Because I'm very conscious of the lighting and what that looks like right here. I think this is best. And I don't know what has happened because I used to be able to sit back. Oh, I also know the monitor. I changed monitors. See, that light looks better. My orange. I don't know. So I'm more self-conscious about the videos. The topic, I'm more picky about the topic. So I love this idea, but I don't know what I would do with it while I'd be recording, if that makes sense. So, and you're probably sitting there going, but we just talked about it. So these are the gaps in my brain that I have this idea, but then actually having to go and then talk about it and do it, that's where it gets really weird for me. So, but yes, I do like the idea of adding that time complexity. Let me add this. Add time complexity. Is that time complexity? I feel like that's not time complexity. Maybe that is it. See, I can't, when I look at that, it doesn't look right. Add time complexity before and after versions. There we go. All right. Alex, hello. How are you? Glad to have, long time no see. Long time no chat. All right. So we're working on finding a substring that is the longest. It's going pretty good. How are you doing? We're working on finding a substring that is the longest palindrome. So palindrome is characters that are the same forwards and backwards. So if we have this string, the longest substring, and it doesn't want what the substring is, it wants the length. So the output is length. So that's also important. I have the link in the description and the link in the chat too. Okay. So how do we go about doing this? So my human brain goes, all right. Let's see. Race car and Civic. Civic is good. I'd never see. I can't flip words around. Race car. I still have to go. No way. That is a palindrome. Civic. I can see that easier. Can you say hola, amigo? I can say it, but I don't. I say it very poorly. Okay, so I think this is a reduction. So I can't even really figure out how, because I threw this against the wall. Oh my, Vinky's just throwing these out. Live evil. Yeah, that is fantastic. All right, so, but as we're building, because what I had in my head is first we're going to iterate through this, add these together, and then each time go through, see if it's a palindrome. And okay, so I think we're going to have to, because we wouldn't have to be, so do we, I think we start with the length of it, and then we remove I think we need to remove an end. So, all right. How is our human brain looking at this? Because it's not going here and here and then checking the reverse. I don't know if we're starting in the middle. So what first comes to mind is possibly something like this. Where we slice off here. Where we slice off the front and then we slice off the back. This is just completely thrown against the wall. Copy. I think I did this the other day. So what's coming to my mind right now is, so we first check, is this a palindrome? No. Then we check this. Is this a palindrome? No. Is this a palindrome? Yes. Which, is that it? Yeah. All right. So I don't know if that's the answer. But now I need to figure out. Hello, how are you? Kratos? I think Kratos has been, you've been here before, correct? Kratos? All right. I think so. Yeah. No, that's not the same forwards and backwards, because it has to end and begin with the same letter. So throw a J on the end of that. So it would be this. Count len, count either then odd. Count even letters plus count of either. So I think we've done this before. I feel like we've done this before. While not why. While len s greater than 0. So it's going to be at least 1. All right. No, because wait a second. The palindrome could be... That technique is flawed. That is for this. What happens if the palindrome was this? All right. So let's go back to Venki's solution. Venki's solutions are always. So let me just follow up. You were teaching about Palindrome. No, so even more complex. So you can scroll up to chat. I think it should still be seen, or it's in the description down below. It is, we're given a string. We need to find a substring, the length of a substring with the longest palindrome that's going to be hidden inside. So like this example right here. The longest substring that is a palindrome is this. So what happens if we change this to, let me adjust this to like that. So the longest palindrome would be these C's, and it's not in center. So what I was doing is I was first saying, whoa, that this technique is we looked at the front letter, we looked at the back letter, and then we removed each. But if this is set up where it's off center, this. So first we have to devise a solution of how am I as a human deciding that CCC, how did I pick CCC is the longest palindrome here? So a palindrome is the same forwards and backwards. So Venki has shown quite a few examples. I have 3 down here, but what is it? Race car, Civic, Live Evil. I think that's all of them. Okay, C. I missed one from Venki. C equals 4 plus D equals 2. Oh, wait a second. You're talking about the odd characters? So Venki's outstanding with math, so I see. So if we're looking at odds and evens, okay, I can't quite visualize, but I think I'm picking up on the essence of where you're going with this. So there's a pattern if we look at the odds and the evens. Got it. Okay, I believe you. I still don't see it, but I see. Is that what our brain is doing? It's going in and looking at the odd and the even number. Noon. Okay, that's a good one. Yes. Oh, I don't think. Yes, exactly. Is it Nihil? Very good. 100%. So now. So if we look, all right. So you're saying C plus D. Count of the even letters. So we need to slice out. So you're talking about slicing the even characters. Hello, Pep. So let's see. Let's bring this into memory. Run S. So count. Len S to the end. And I'll walk everyone through what I'm doing here. And I'm not quite sure if I'm doing exactly what Venki is having in mind. So to start it, so that's the even. That's even, and here's odd. All right. So first, so you said count. Where'd you go? Count of even letters plus count of odd letters. So, all right, I've got to, and I'm not doubting that you're not on a great path, because Venky's exceptional with solving problems like this. All right, so I'm going through here. Or do we want to go to the middle and go out? No. Because, like I said, I can already feel. So that's 4 C's. So right now, this is the longest. And then if I interrupt it with an M. All right, so we're back to the kind of a brute force. Move over here. We would have to go through this so many different times. That's the only way I can think about doing this. Unless, Venky, you have a solution. Because if I iterate through this, and I keep adding, because right now, how would I, and I just check until I get to the end? Because if I were to start here, and I were to look at A, and I'd build it, and I'd check and see if it's a palindrome. But I don't do a test if it's a palindrome. So I go all the way through. So how am I doing this? Okay, maybe I'm coming over here. Removing. All right, we're going to get this to work, but this is going to be an awful solution. We're going to have to go through this thing like 1,000 times. This is going to be awful. All right. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to be doing it so brute force on the other way. This is going to be so bad. Venky's probably already done and is going bananas. All right. While so take the whole thing, look at it. Is it equal? So if you don't know, let me show you the fastest way to look at the reverse of this. So this is the fastest way that I know of to, so if you do not know slicing, start, stop, step, start, stop is blank, means go to the end. Step is how many characters you're going to iterate. So when you just pass in 1, it's indexing. When you pass in and you start adding colons, then you're slicing. So that would be the interpretation of me coming and starting at index 2, which is C, and then going all the way to the end. So if I put a bracket on this and hit enter, I'm going to have all the C's and the last 2 D's. All the C's and the last 2 D's. So now, if I'm going to come and I want to start at the first letter. Oh, but no, here's C, and then I want to look at it in reverse. So here's the fastest way that I know of to look at a string in reverse. So if you look carefully, and if you look at it, start, stop, meaning if I have a blank at the beginning, that means the whole thing. If I have a blank for the stop, that means I'll go all the way to the end. So both endpoints. So it's the same thing as a default of 0 at the beginning and whatever the len -1 for the stopping point. So if you look really close, this is the exact same thing forwards and backwards. So now this is the technique we're going to use. We're going to use the equivalent of and what? Oh, that is a equal sign. So here. So we already visualized and saw that these two are not the same because, but let's do this so you can see. MOM And then, so M equal to Dillip. Hello, Dillip. How are you? So we're working on finding the longest palindrome inside a substring. So we'll get back to it in a minute. So I'm just kind of resuming. I am live. Yes, I am. Glad to have you here. I don't think I've seen you before, so very, very nice to have you here. So what we're doing is we're going through, we're finding the longest substring. So in this example, the length. Well, let me get rid of that. We're actually, I guess the better way to say this is we're finding the length of the longest palindrome. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. So if you've not hit the like button, please do that for me. I'd appreciate that. Let's see. So I think we need to go through, chop off, and go back and look at the whole thing. I keep going back and forth. Are we going to look at which is harder? Which programming language is harder? Well, that is an interesting discussion that I'm trying to get everyone to change how they see things. Programming is harder than any language. So this example right here, it's like how did we decide? So explain this to a 5-year-old. Programming is very challenging. How would you explain that to a 5-year-old that this is the longest substring? This is what is challenging about programming, the actual articulation of the decision. Was a way, how about dict and take the keys and values? Okay. I don't hate it because it's your idea. Let's see. How would we do that? I'm not saying no. I'm just saying I wouldn't know how to do that because I go back and forth with. We take this and we see if we test if S equivalent to S minus or minus 1, and I forgot this, print len S and break. Else, see, this is what we have to decide. Are we going to... We have to have multiple pointers here. The dictionary, So my problem with the dictionary, and I'm, again, Vinky, I can't say this enough. I'm not saying no. I'm saying I don't get it. But because the reason why I go to say no about a dictionary is because dictionaries become hashable, so they're not in any order. So since we're trying to find the substring, we'd be automatically be changing the order of something. But that's just how my brain is wired. Not saying no. I'm saying I wouldn't know how to use a dictionary to solve this problem. So, all right. How am I agreeing? Why am I agreeing that BCCCCD is the longest palindrome here? So, oh, and I've already changed this on accident. And I didn't even know it. That's supposed to have an A in it. There we go. how did I do all of that? There we go. All right. So see, I could see them burying that in here. And if I take some off of each end, then so how did my human brain recognize that? That's the trick to programming. I forget who asked who's got the harder programming language. No, I disagree with. I think that's the wrong question. How do you deduce? Because the more you understand how you deduced it, the easier it is to program. So since I'm challenged with how did I even decide how to do this? So I'm sitting here and I'm going I'm counting this 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's just so even this one that we did yesterday. That took a minute for me to let that sink in. How did I make that decision? And we weren't even close to solving that problem until we solved the pseudo algorithm. And then same thing with this. So you have to have a pseudo algorithm to be even able to write this. So all right, let's keep brainstorming how we go about doing this. So A D C C A C C A D. Boom. Because if we were to increment through this and go A, I guess we just have to go through the entire thing and count. I don't think there's a way to get around this. We're just going to have to go through it like 15,000 times and see how slow it is. All right. So that's what we're going to do. I don't think there's any way around this because I would need to check until we get to the end. Yep. Okay. And let me lay the base case down and then we'll go through it. So for INS temp let's move this because I think we're going to reset. So order of operations is vital. So every time we recheck, so we're going to chop up S. Or do we care? Sorry, I'm still wanting to chop off the beginning and the end, but I know that's a flawed technique, but I want it. It's like I want it to work so bad. So for INS, so then temp, so for temp equals, so there, I'm going to make it smaller, start at the beginning, make it smaller, move over, and try to find the longest. So this is what I'm going to envision. Let me show you what I'm going to attempt to do. Have no idea if this is the best technique. I already feel like it's not because I'm going to be going through this way too many times. All right. So this is my idea that I have right now. Here's original S, right? So I'm going to start here. That is not an arrow. I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to move over and check and see if this is a palindrome until I get to the end. Then I'm going to chop off this and make my pointer. Can I do that? Then I'll move my pointer here. That's kind of cool. And then I'm going to iterate through here. And then I'm going to chop this off. And then I'm going to move this. Let's see if I can do this. Move this over to here. That's not bad. And then I'm going to iterate through. So I know this is going to be awful and this is going to be so slow but we got to get it to work first. Now, there may not be another way to do it. So this may be the slowest. The fastest can still be extremely slow. It just has to be the fastest way and the only option. So I don't know if this is the fastest, but this is the only way that I can see of how our human brains are coming through here and solving this. So now I have to take that thought and syntax verbalize, get it out of my head, and write this down through here. So for I and S, I'm going to increment I. Then I'm going to check and see if I is a palindrome. Length. So I'm not going to have this inside my while loop because I want to set this and not reset it every time. Only if, okay, so temp, if temp is equal to temp, let me get that out of here. Let me move this up so everybody can see. Temp -1 then length equals len temp. No. And I got to do one more if. This is already garbage. So I'll walk you through everything that I'm doing. So if len temp greater than length, then do this. All right, so let me walk you through what I'm doing. And again, I know this is garbage, but we're going to get it. It's going to work. It just is going to be so brute force. So what in the world am I doing? So I am taking a substring. I'm adding this, whatever is the first character, to temp. Then I'm going to be checking, and I'm adding this to temp. So here's my base. That is a lot of temps. All right, so I'm right here. Then on this line, I'm checking to see if it's a palindrome. At that time, if temp is a palindrome, then we go into a whole subset of checks. So I don't care if it's a palindrome, awesome, but I also then need to know, is it longer than the previous palindrome that I've found? That's what we're doing here on this line. So 1, is it a palindrome? But 2, it also then has to be longer than the current palindrome that we have found. And again, this is this double check that our brain is doing. Our brain is doing so much more. Because every time we're doing this, every time we're looking at this step right here, when we go D, okay, here's D, and then C, C, A, we're inadvertently or being unaware that we're counting because we're continuously adding. We're going C, 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 C. All right, that. And then we're about to count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you have to do this at every interval for programming because we can't just go, hey, is this a palindrome? Okay, wait a minute. No, I don't think so. So as you go through. So what we're going to do then is we're going to chop off we're going to chop off one of the beginnings, the first character, and then we're going to go through. So, all right, I'll show you what I did. Or I'll show you what I'm going to do. So, all right, let's go through and see if this step is going to work. So now that I've checked, and I'm adding, and I'm adding, and then I get done with my for loop. I come out here, come out here, come out here. So I'm done with going through the string. So now I'm going to do string is equal to 1 string 1 to the end. And I want to check something because I've never done this technique. So I want to see what happens. All right, cool. So I wanted to double check because strings and indexing and slicing, you can get out of range very, very quickly. So you can get an out of range error. So let's look at. So I'll show you exactly what I was being prepared for when we were doing this. So S is this. Indexing. So slicing, I guess it does not throw up. I guess I've never done a side-by-side comparison with. So then if I do index 1, I get an index out of range problem. But I just found out through the anatomy of my object, I can do an outside slicing and not throw an error. So what I'm doing here is, and then print length. So let's see if this is actually doing what I'm expecting, and then we'll see if there's any way to speed this up at all. Okay, well, one, it's not what we were expecting. We should have gotten a length of well, one, let's make sure that this is the proper string because I keep changing it. Is that the proper string? Yes. So this did not do what I was expecting it to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this out and see. I love print is my favorite hero to Vinky, how are you doing on your solve? Are you already done? Print, whoa, print S, print S. Okay, now I want to print temp. All right. This should have been caught right. So I'm getting it to print out, and I'm getting my solution, but this isn't capturing it. Interesting. Print yes. So what I'm doing right here is I want to see how many times yes actually comes out. So why isn't, I don't care about that now. Don't care about that now. Because it, I wonder if I have temp in the wrong spot, but I just got, there it is. I'm printing it out. Print yes, and then temp. Okay, hang on. So now I'm not getting, Okay, where did it go? So what I'm doing is I'm looking to see what happened. Whoa. Put that back. Right there. So why doesn't it believe this is a palindrome? Oh, because it's not. Wait a second. Oh, that's funny. Wait a minute. Longest palindrome. The characters are wrong. Oh, that is so funny. Okay. Now let's try this again. 7. There we go. So the sample data was wrong. Hang on, I gotta make sure. I'm hearing a lot of banging. Oh, they're the house next door around the corner. So let's copy this. Let's turn that off. Okay, so like I said, this is working super slow because we were going through this one. So now let's see who all's still here. Vinky, you still here? Do you have a solve for this? Mine's ugly. So I'll walk everyone through what I was doing. So if you go and actually look at the Leetcode, this is not what the example is. So this is the example that they gave us. And it does not match. It does not. They mistyped. So this was supposed to be a D, and that's supposed to be an A. And then now you have it here. So that's the longest one. So this seems to be working. So let's do something crazy that we know will. We know, because what I'm worried about is something like this. 5. Okay. Print temp. Len Pal equals no equals here. So now I'm going to store it. So len pal should be max pal sorry, equals temp max pal 5 and max pal. And I'll really go into depth of what I was doing. Is that right? No way. Still. Okay, let's do this. C. This is how, if you really get your good. Okay. How many C's is that? I want another C. 6. Okay. So I wanted to shift it. So it caught it. So it's off center. Okay, so this works. All right. Okay. I am trying. You are here. Awesome. And you're trying to understand. So, all right. So there's just a handful of us. So we can go through this very, very slowly. So picture's worth 1,000 words. So let's go back to what I was doing. Let's go copy. Now, I'm a huge fan of get it to work and look at it later. So our human brain, we looked at and we found out, well, one, that's supposed to be, I've done it using C++. Oh, awesome. Okay, so you already have and submitted. How did you get, how many milliseconds did you get it in, and what was the shape of your curve? Have you joined the Discord server? Because I would love to see how fast this is, because I used to not have to worry about speed and optimization and time complexity, but I really believe in the next job, I really think I am, and the amount of time and energy, because if I'm going to be building data pipelines, I'm going to need to be very very good at optimization. So you already get the concept of this. So I'll show you what I'm doing in Python then. So if you wrote it in C++, you get programming concepts. So I know nothing about C++. I think, no, I lie, but it's been decades. I was at a summer camp and we wrote some, it was kind of when I fell in love with programming. I just could not learn C++ to save my life. So basically what we're doing here is I'm starting out and I'm saying, hey, while the string exists, because, so we kind of bookended this. While the string exists, while len is greater than 0, and I'm shrinking this every time through by one character at the beginning, and I'm going through. So I'm not stopping if it's not a palindrome, because I could get all the way to the end, because if I'm looking at mom, here, let's look at this example. TT. There we go. So if I look at D is a D. When I look at the D character, D is first longest palindrome because it's 1. D and DD, that's a palindrome because it's the longest 1. DDA, not a palindrome. DDAD, not a palindrome. So on, so on, so on. Then I move everything over, and my starting point is now here. And then I iterate. So boom, longest palindrome 3, go to the end. And then I do this, check, do this, check, do this, check, and that check. So that is basically the concept that I'm doing here. So iterating through each one, creating a temp, then I'm checking the palindrome status, seeing if it is a palindrome. Then inside of that test, so right now, actually, I could do this on one line. And I've been, and this. Because both of those, if you have a nested, which I'm sure you know this, if you have a nested if inside of an if, it can be on one line. All right, so there we are. Let's see. Can we speed anything else up? Let's see. I don't think so. So we're going to submit this and see how fast this is. This needs to be... I feel like this is going to be ridiculously slow. Well, I know it's going to be ridiculously slow, but I feel like there's probably a faster way to do this. Because if it's the only way to do it, where we have to brute force and go through every single thing. All right, so right now I'm not getting So see, we can't even get through the first example because it is failing. Because the example is wrong. Because this A, because like we just pointed out, the longest palindrome here is 4. And somebody hard-coded this wrong. Is there a report on Leetcode? Did you guys get it to go through on Leetcode? Because this needs to be reported because actually I want to do something. I want to check and see. I want to see if I can code around this. If S, actually, I'm gonna see if I can trick it. If S equivalent to, I'm gonna see if I can get around it. So I'll show you what I'm doing. So I'm hard coding this since this example I believe is wrong. I hard coded that example into my test case. So I'll show you what I did. So if I can get around it. Yeah, this is going so slow. Here's another one. So now it's saying ABB. It's saying it's an output of 3. You've got to be kidding me. LFS. I'm just hard coding all these. And I'll show you what I'm doing when I mean hard coding. Because this is an elegant problem. But somebody's unit testing is bad. Getting closer. Oh my God. This is so dumb. I've never seen Leetcode is usually exceptional. I've never seen it have this many mistakes. Expected 5. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. How is okay. Here we are. No, I've completely misunderstood. It wants to rebuild. So it's not a substring. This is not a substring. Oh my God. No, I'm sorry everybody. I've done this again. So return the length of the longest palindrome that can be built with those letters. Holy God. That's what Vinky was trying to tell me. Vinky, is that what you were trying to say? That's what Vinky's going to get really annoyed by this. Because this is like the third or the fourth time Vinky's like, you're not reading it right. So it's not the longest substring, and this is what's so dangerous, and I am guilty of this, as you just watch. I automatically assumed. Oh wow. Okay, so I've done. How long are we into this stream? An hour and 16 minutes. Okay. You don't actually need a palindrome. You just need to know the frequency, because in the end you can rearrange the string as you like. Yes. And I completely missed that. Okay. So, all right. Let's go back. So is it shuffling? So how many let me get, okay. Let's go back. Let me get rid of all this garbage. So I don't even know if I can figure this out. Let's go back. Description. All right, so let's copy this and make sure I have this right. Okay. Len of S. All right, A characters. So all right, we can have both a palindrome being odd or even, correct? Longest palindrome. That's what you were saying. Longest palindrome, length of string minus number of odd characters minus 1. Okay. All right. Let me try to wrap my head around that. Kratos, so how did you solve? Did you solve the right problem, unlike the path that I set us down? So we had an A, so we can do A. We have 2 C's, 2 A's, 2 D's. That's what you were talking about. There we go. That's okay. So that's the math. Length of. So the key value. So the dictionary solve. That's what you were talking about. I'm so sorry, Benki. So don't hesitate to go. You're doing solving the wrong problem, because I have a history of that. Can build from these letters. Okay, so why couldn't... Okay, let's go the other way. Why couldn't it be 8? Okay, so we shuffle... Okay, because it couldn't be 8 because we have 2... That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. So if we have an odd... All right, I think I'm finally following the math solution on this. We can't have 2 odd numbers. Fair? We can have as many even numbers as possible, but we can't have 2 odds. That's what you're saying, minus. Count the... Because, so the structure of this is we have 4. So we have even. We have even. So we could shuffle this around. So we have 6. and then we grab one of the even numbers. That's what you're talking about. Vinky, I am so sorry that I was not following along. All right. So collection, count, import collections. Nope, from collections, import count. Counter S. All right. Counter. All right. So it's just me and you, Vinky. All right. Everybody else is like, you're crazy and you don't make any sense. Yeah, that's 100% true. But I improve. Well, I guess I can't say I'm improved since I keep making the same mistake. All right. Sorry, where were we? All right. So we got to get rid of all this. I do like that. This was so good. I think this is a good... When we do this is just a topic on ourselves. All right. So we're to here. Letters. And then let me make sure, again, if I'm already going to collection counter. All right, so that's the object. So right now, so we count all. So if we have, okay, so let's base the structure on this, and your math skills will come into this. So if we had, this has to be, I'm going to call it our anchor and call this our bookends. So it's 7 because it doesn't matter, because this could also be, this could have also been B, correct? Because it's just one of them. So, all right, bookends, there's middles, bookends are middles. Is there a way that we could use, if we got to 3 singles, would that do it? Because I don't think so. So if we had A, B, and C. No, is there any way to do this? So no. So can we iterate through a counter? I don't know this. For I in letters print I. I don't know. Okay. All right. From collections, import counter. Not a huge fan of doing this, but I want to get this done because we're already at, I've run off most everyone. We're at 1 hour and 25 minutes. Okay. Let's move this down here. Even though I actually like that elegant that solution a lot. So length equals 0 for I we got to take letters equals counter s for I in letters. How about iterates over the values, characters of dictionaries? That's exactly where I was going. So if the value is divisible by 2, but then we're going to need to track also only counting one counter. So we need one counter, because we can only count 1 once. We can't count. Here, let me show you what I'm going to do. For I in letters, if, let me double check if it works the same. Letters dot a should letters ers. Okay. All right. If letters I modulo 2 equals 0, length plus letters increment by letters there. So if it's not even, else length plus, okay, elif 1 counter less than 1 length. Follow along with me here. Oh, I think you have a solution. I want to finish this and then I'll look at it. Length plus letter 1 and then 1 counter 1. Print length. From collections 7. All right. Copy, paste, move over. All right, let's see how this works. Got a runtime error. Why do I have a runtime error? Oh, I'm not returning length. Returning length. Okay. Now I'm submitting this. Bananas. Okay, I got, but and I'll look at yours in just a second. I'm failing on bananas. All right, let's look at Venki's solution. All right, if I count plus I else count, you're close. We got to get the value out. But yeah, exactly. I think that's else count. Now also we got to keep up with So what I'm trying to do here is the odd numbers, but only do this once. So, all right, why is bananas? All right, let's bring in bananas. Why? Okay. And then letters. What's the bananas? Bananas should be 5, right? What am I getting? I'm getting 3. Am I not resetting something? Length is 0, 1 counter. What I get for what I do for 3 or for bananas? I got 3. The way that I thought I had this designed. Oh. I need to grab the larger one. Okay. All right. So now we kind of got to do this in order. Oh, man. So now I got to sort. I got to sort this by. So with this being hashable, I grabbed one of these. I grabbed one of the ones. We need to grab the longest odd. So now we need to put this. Ugh. So now I need to put this in a list. Now I need to put this in a list and sort it. Great. All right, so we have a little bit more work to do. Vinky, have you seen this? You probably have. You probably know how to do it. All right, so letters equals list letters. All right. Uh-oh. Oh, hang on. Duh. Dot items. I don't know if... Okay, we are going to have to do that. Let's see. Letters. Let's go back. Does counter have an items? Let's see. Because dir on letters. We may be using a dictionary. Keys. Items. What did you... Letters equals list letters dot items. Okay. All right. I know I've got to def. So now I need to sort by def last x, oh my word, x equals return x minus 1. So now letters equals list dot letters dot items, and then letters, no, sorted, help on sorted, return new list. Okay. Letters equals sorted letters key dot last. All right, let's check this. Make sure I'm getting what I think before. Okay. Something threw up. So I coded way too much. So we had some people jump in here. So thanks for joining us. I sent us down a rabbit hole. Venki was trying to be very polite and say, hey, you're doing this all wrong. You're looking at a key value pair association. So we're looking at, so not only are we trying to find the longest palindrome, but we're reshuffling. And I even said it out loud. Oh, sorry. Got to move on. I can sure hang up on something. So, all right. So where am I messing up? So let's make sure. I don't need all that. It's this. Does the code throw up there? No. Does the code throw up here? Yes. So it's this line. Letters. Dyslexia strikes again. Okay, so letters. Now let's see the anatomy of my object. Reverse. So now I need to put this in reverse. Sorted. Reverse true. Reverse equals true. Okay. We'll go over everything that I'm doing if you're not sure exactly what in the world I'm doing. So, all right. So we found out. So Venki has pointed me finally in the right direction of what we need to really be solving here. So to solve a problem like this, to take letters and reshuffle, you can basically have as many even numbers as you want. No matter. You can only have one odd. Now, I was halfway there with this, my one counter. I foresaw that we could only do one. But my problem since I had a hashable object, you have no, I'm checking to see if they're even, checking to see if they're odd, not one, but odd. So I saw part of it, didn't see the whole thing. So I need to get the largest odd first. So now this will do it. But now the anatomy has changed. So this changes. So now that I'm going through for I in letters, print I, bingo. So I and J. So now I need to change my unpacking here a little bit. I and J. So now this is if J and then J and J. Now let's see if we get 5. Bingo. So all right, let's go back through what I was doing here. All right, so now this is a list. Letters is a list of tuples. So I unpacked this. This was actually a counter object that also has items as a method. So when you call items, you get something along this line right here. So now I also then created a real quick, not super good, yeah, you should be doing this with a lambda function. I couldn't tell you the last time I used lambda. So I created a real quick last. So I'm saying sort it by this. So we called our sorted function on our container, told it what key to use, and it defaults to ascending. So I said change it to reverse. So then now this is here. So as we're going through, if J is an even number, count it no matter what. We don't care. So if it's not an even number and the counter is less than 1, so we've only had one even number, count that, but then increase one counter by 1. So we won't count any other odd numbers after this. And then now we throw this into our bananas. Banana. Now we get it and we solve it. So let me come up here. Let me get all of this. I forget how much I've changed. Copying and pasting partial code is awful. So we're going to come up here and Paste that. Whoa, that is a lot. Counter. Move this over. And Venki was very polite. Venki, stop being so polite. If you see me doing dumb, tell me. You've been around long enough. Like, hey, you're answering the wrong question. All right, let's see if this checks out. All right, case 1, case 2. So now we're not iterating through every single thing like I was worried about. Whoa! All right. Check out this. So we have something that's failing. All right, check out this string. It is this string right here. What is this of? Hang on, check out this string. And this is not surprising for me. In 1, 2, 3. Civil War testing, where the Naptionary War, what is it? Okay. I see great battlefield. Secret wars. Can't struggle here. Lowest poor power. Look at this. Look at this thing. For which they who fought. So, all right. I want to get this all in here. It's 600 and something characters. Shall not have died. The birth of freedom. All right. So, here it is. Holy moly. Okay, so now I want to bring this. Okay. Run this. Letters. All right. So I gave the output of 655. What the output that they're expecting is 983. So I don't know if I'm okay. Is the answer 7? For which one? For bananas? Bananas, it's 5. So right now, how am I off by that much? So is there a way? So I guess, Venki, there is a way. Put that one and put this in Discord. Venki, you want that in Discord? Absolutely. Here you go. You know what? I don't paste code a lot. Hang on, let me go back. That's sad that I don't know the rules. All right, let me go and read the instructions. I know we have it in here for new people. It's not I thought we had it. Here we are. It's the back symbol, right? It's that. Hang on. There we go. Got it. I knew we had an info form on it. Okay. As you can see, I need to post more. Where is? So, I get 655. They're saying the output for is so I'm wondering if I'm inadvertently stopping. No. So for letters in I and J, because we don't care about the letters, I'm just unpacking J. And I'm grabbing the longest. So what I'm concerned about is if we have an I, a Q, a B, I, a Q, a B, a G. Is there any way because what I'm going is it has to be, so what was it, live evil? So that is 1, 2. That is 1 odd and 4 evens. So why in the world am I off by 300 characters? Wonder if counter's not working. Because I really thought we were close on this. Put the use case in there. All right. I love how you... I love Leetcode. I think it is great. All right. So why? Contribute a test case. Oh, I like that. Okay. Are there hints anywhere? Because we're adding all these and we need to get the longest. Because then I'm not counting all of the other odds. Wait a second. Okay, I'm flawed. Here's one. No, that won't work. Oh, so here's what I was doing. If it was a bunch of E's inside a bunch of R's. Okay, but then can we wrap another odd around it? I don't think so. I disagree with that. Vinky, how is... Okay. You're getting 985. Okay, so... You get 985. 985 or 983? See, I think this is wrong because I think I just added that. Put it in Leetcode because I believe the answer... Yeah, that's 83. All right, so you're getting it. So what am I doing? 985. Okay. I may wrap up. I'm getting very, 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 very hungry, almost uncomfortable hungry, and I've been trying to do better because I'm trying to put some weight on, and not miss that opportunity. And birth of freedom, that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Okay, interesting. I'll have to look at this. Well, this is frustrating. Ended up solving two different problems, or attempting to solve two different problems. One, the right problem. Yeah, I can't say that enough. Make sure you're solving the real problem. And as you can see, I'm just as guilty of this as anyone else. I'm probably more guilty than anyone else. 655. Venky, send over your solution in Discord if you don't mind, because I really want to know what this is. So if I'm for I, J in letters, letters, print, no, length equals plus J, print length, and then length equals 0. Okay, so I just wanted to double check something. All right, let's see Venky's elegant solution. All right, let's bring this over here. Temp. All right, so max palindrome temp. Use counter. Okay. Counter equals odd equals false. So f in value, f in temp values. Oh, nice. Okay, so you're just pulling values. All right. F divided by 4 is if odd, count 1. Interesting. Okay, so that's very close to your one solution where we rolled and we counted the... All right, I'm going to have to think about this because I like this part, and then you're adding it back. You've used this technique before, and it captures everything. Like our title, like our titling our columns. You did something very similar to this. The one you decremented and then you incremented it back, and you're catching everything. Okay. we may stop here because we're coming up on, yeah, we're an hour and 55. So if I start to dissect this, I'm going to be way over 2 hours, and I can't do that. And I started late. So actually, I thought I started right at 38, but apparently I didn't. So maybe I sat down at 38 and it took another 5 or 6 minutes. Okay. So, all right. So if you want the solution that works, go make sure you're over in Discord. Vinky, can you do me a favor and paste that in the code so anybody can grab it? And it's that paste code with that little instruction, or if you're not where that character is, that's the one character kind of catty corner to the tab. I don't know what it's called. The tab between 1 and 0, and you can also look at the instructions right here. Go to Welcome to Python Basics. We had some instructions of how to paste code, and just like that. All right. So let's bring this over here. Anything super pressing before we go? Hate that I was not able to get this to work, but that's life. And this is my dilemma right here, and I think Venky just posted it. Thank you, Venky. Awesome. Great work, as always. Venky is always bailing me out, and I'm very glad to have Venky here. And glad we had a couple other individuals come and hang out with us today, as always. Don't know what we're going to do tomorrow, but I do need to, because I got to stop here, eat, edit, and then head out and do some errands. But thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Bye, everyone.